learning concepts are kind of coupled with real-world situations. Sometimes we misunderstand STEM as we see STEM as a single subject. And when we get it that way, we miss it. And so it is something trying to relate the real world and see how science, technology, engineering, and mathematics together, we look at concepts and look at real world situations, and then we apply them. AI is increasingly reshaping education and science education or STEM education in particular. It has become transformative tool for both students and teachers. And of course, we see there are some fears, like Professor Jehoan said, some fears as though AI will replace teachers. There are those fears, of course, it cannot replace, but teachers will need to work hard so that they can catch up with what AI provides, so that they will not be in class and then their students will be well ahead of them. And that is why I think seminars like this or workshops like this are important. And one significant contribution of AI to science education is its support for inquiry-based learning and experimentation. The problem we have here in this part of the world, see, we don't have maintenance. You have to do an electricity experiment. How do I go about it? And we have that in this part of the world. But AI has made, we have experimentation, we have visual laboratory simulations, where even when it is powered maybe by your laptop and all that, and students can still have access and do some of these experiments. They can pick the wires and then place the wires and see, connect, get the voltage and see and read and see as though they are doing it right really in the laboratory. And that is what AI has provided for us. And one of those tools like the FET, physics education technology. It's actually physics education technology. They started with physics, but they have tools and applications to all science subjects, chemistry, mathematics, biology, and all that. And you can have a lot of illustrations, a lot of simulations, and all that, where students can better learn. So students and teachers can use all that. Now, these tools replicate the condition of real-life experiments where students, as though they are in the real-life situations like that. Now, let's understand AI in STEM education. Now, AI refers to the development, like the keynote address speaker said, when we use machines to help us do what humans can do. But the thing there is that machines do it faster than how, so the reasoning, the thinking, and everything that we would have stayed to think, some algorithms have been done by experts such that those thinking are made so fast that within a short time it gives us a result that we cannot do at the time. And that is the benefit of AI. So these tasks, they include reasoning, like I said. So you reason, you want to see, you get a complex mathematical equation, and you want to solve it, and you begin to think, okay, let me do board mass, let me do bracket first, let me do this first, and you do this and do. While you're doing that, AI has done everything for you, and that is one beauty. So the goal of AI in education is not to replace teachers, and that's why I said, but teachers need to step up the game by understanding these tools and see how they can use these tools to enhance their teaching. There is no topic, either the primary school, at secondary school, at university level, that you want to teach, that there are no AI provisions to help you. In terms of the content, in terms of the methodology, in terms of the assessment, in everything you want to do. And the thing is just knowing them and using them ethically and using them appropriately. So there are several AI tools and applications that currently shape educational landscape. Now we look at some of them. I talked about intelligent tutoring system. The keynote address speaker talked about them. When you just stay with the system and whatever content, and it's like it's one-on-one, looking at your ability, looking at your pace, looking at your cognitive level, and it goes with you. And when it says that by the time you give responses that you are not at the level and all that, it adjusts and then gives you something so that you go with the pace at your own pace. There are such facilities. And so you can run through that, yes. The next one is AI-driven learning platforms. They are learning platforms. She talked about the Khan Academy. The Khan Academy, if you go and you just type in Khan Academy, you'll find everything, all the subjects you have, whether it's biology, chemistry, every content. It asks you the content, the topic you want to teach. Whether it's illustration, you want to do a demonstration, you just key there and you see everything. So it has made teaching easy, and we can guide our students and teachers to use such facilities, automated assessment and feedback tools. Like the keynote speaker said, there are such assessment feedback. I use it. I use it. And sometimes I get questions like that, and then I get model answers, and I can use it, and then it does some kind of grading and all that, and you see. So the important thing is to know what it is. And one thing about AI, and sometimes people do, is that AI uses your own intelligence. Because if you do not know, if you do not know what to prompt it, it will give you rubbish. So you need to know what is it I want from it. And so you prompt it. If you don't prompt it, I was asking something and I asked what terminology is it? It is an acronym. And I keyed in that acronym. I wanted to understand full details about that acronym. I just put in the acronym. And AI took me to Australia and gave me that acronym in Australia that meant nothing to what I was looking for. And if I didn't know what I was looking, I now asked it, I said, no, I don't mean this, I mean this in relation to AI in science, in STEM education. Then it came back and gave me everything that I needed. And so it still uses your intelligence, and it is important that we know this. AI powered visual laboratory simulations, I've talked about that. Now, these tools, when ethically and ethically used, integrated into our teaching, it will make teaching and learning very well. Now, there are some emerging trends. I'll take them one by one. Increasing adoption of personalized and adaptive learning systems for instance, the platforms that I said, the Dreambox learning in mathematics and Newton. Yes, and Newton. I think it was Newton. I was trying to get some information about Newton, and then I typed in Newton, and it gave me Newton in Australia. Newton in Australia, I think so, and it meant something different from what I was talking about. And I have to query it again, and then I got what I was looking for, and then this. And then there are some things, sometimes natural language, let me just run through them. Natural language presentation, particularly for those who have some disabilities. They have some disabilities in terms of language, in terms of speech, in terms of all that. AI is there, it can convert text. It can convert text to word. It can convert words to text and all that. I was teaching somewhere outside here, and in my class, I had a visually impaired student. And he was there like that. He had an aid in the class. And then he had a kind of system which is not like our system. But the aid is there by him. And by the time you say something, he's not saying it, does something, and he sees it with the colors and everything there, and then they do. But that is what AI will provide. And with that, they are able to get included into normal system, and they are making better progress. I will rush through that because my time is short. Opportunities, AI provides system education. One of the most significant opportunities it provides in STEM education is the ability to personalize instruction. We have talked about all that. So you can go at your pace. You can go at your level. You can assess yourself. By the time you assess yourself, and then after you've taken something, and then it sees that this is where you are, it can take you to another module where you can go like that and pace, and those things are there. It enhances inquiry-based learning. And then inquiry-based and interactions and experimentations and all that. And like the Labstar is another laboratory simulation platform or a tool, and also the PhET. Now, these platforms particularly are useful in resource-constrained context, like I have said, here in Nigeria or in Africa, where we have this. But if we subscribe to these, we'll be able to use them. And these are many other challenges now. Just go through that. Challenges, yes. Number one challenge there is data privacy and ethics concerns. Data privacy. And sometimes and you have some data. Sometimes when you ask AI, it is sourcing and looking for data. And sometimes it gets data, it gets pictures, it gets some data. The question is, do you have ethical approval to use such data generated by some others and all that? These are some ethical concerns. And that's why many institutions everywhere, they are having ethical committees before you do research to see what kind of research, what kind of data, where are you getting it, and what ethical approval before you are able to access and use those data. And that is one concern. Some of us are using pictures, we are presenting pictures here. Do you have ethical approval for those pictures? Are those faces real faces, or they are just Google faces online and all that? So these ethical concerns, bias and fairness in AI algorithms. Now sometimes AI algorithms, there could be, sometimes maybe we say these are disadvantaged pupils or students, and because they are disadvantaged students, and then AI, you have some kind of instruction, some kind of assessment for them and all that. AI is a machine. And even though we say maybe DIO, disadvantage, and then we get students from DIO, and then we get that, AI sees everybody in DIO as disadvantaged. And so by the time there are some selected few people who are not disadvantaged because of the exposure and all that, AI has no way of detecting such things. And that is one problem. The other one is pedagogical limitations and over-reliance on technology. Like you said, AI cannot replace human interaction with students. AI, human interaction, sometimes you see emotion, you're teaching, and then your students, sometimes I was a mathematics teacher, mathematics physics teacher. And so sometimes you teach, you solve the thing, and then you say, do you understand? And the students are making their face, no, we don't understand. AI will not see that expression that they don't understand. AI goes on like that. So that interaction, knowing when the people are fanning themselves, the place is hot, AI will not see that you're fanning yourself. AI goes on with what it's doing. So these limitations are there. Next thing is accessibility and digital divide. How much, what is the cost, how do we assess it, and all that. We see that data prices are also gone. Then teacher readiness and professional development. That is very important. That's why it is saddening that we are having a workshop like this. Science teachers from all the areas, local governments, universities ought to come to be able to get these innovations, get these ideas, and see how they can put them into practice. Most of them do not know about all that. If I taught somewhere, it is not an offense when a student is playing with his phone in your class. It's not an offense, because the student may be Googling something and learning part of what you're teaching. But I'm sure here, when we see students with a phone, the student may hear a word, data privacy, and wants to Google what is it and all that to enhance learning. But because of teacher readiness, teachers are not aware, teachers don't know that, and they don't see how they can. So teacher training and retraining is very important in what we are talking about. Evaluation and evidence effective, this is very key. Not many people will talk about this. Even though we are talking about AI, talking about the benefits, talking about what it will do, there are very limited research evidence to show that these IA-enabled enabled teaching and learning and all those things are more effective than traditional. We are not saying that there are no few, but they are very few and limited, and we need to. So some of them are based on assumptions that if we do that, it will do and all that. But go critically to see where these are effectively compared in global large-scale research, you find out that those problems are there. So evaluation and evidence effectiveness is also one challenge. And then cost sustainability, I've talked about. In conclusion, I have those conclusions there. Let me just quickly go to suggestions, okay? So number one, I said professional development and teacher empowerment. That is very key. That we need to think about how we can do retraining programs for teachers in our schools. Clear policy framework. There must be policy by government as to how to integrate AI and make the structural provisions for schools and all at different level for that. AI innovation should be designed to be scalable across different contexts. So how is it used at different places in the city, metropolitan area, in the rural area? How do we do about that? That is very key. Invest in infrastructure accessibility. Government and stakeholders need to invest in AI technologies or technology infrastructure that will enable students and teachers to effectively use this. And then we see there train educators on AI competencies, promote interdisciplinary curriculum design. We talk about STEM. Like I said, most of us see STEM as a single subject, but it is not so, it's integration. So you need to look at maybe a problem, for instance. Everybody is sweating there. Why are we sweating? Why are we sweating like this? If the building technology, if there is good aeration and all that, that is technology that will be able to look at structure when we are building. Okay, aeration, what about the number of people that are there? What about that? And what is the effect? So we look at the environment, we look at biology, physics may come, acoustics, as I'm talking about now, how is the sound going? Constructing this. So all those components come together to solve a real life problem. That's what STEM is supposed to be, and that is the perception we need to look at it. So supporting ongoing research evaluation and then foster public-private partnership. Thank you very much. Our time was so limited, and we just have to do this. Thank you. God bless
you. Thank you. Let's celebrate our thought lead paper presenter, Professor Thelma Belfast. Thank you, Prof. All right, we are taking